Greetings, everybody. It is day 2, T2 Fitness Arc. Just got done doing my stretches. Got a reply from Craft Chest. He's joining the movement. Wish there was some kind of social media way we could all like monitor each other's progress or encourage each other or something. Because remember, like Chad and Steve YouTube days. You guys that are like newer, like you've been here in the last 10 years or something, you probably don't remember Chad and Steve were these guys that created YouTube in their garage, and you could do video responses to other videos, and you can like have a circle going around like following each other. Nah, you can't really do that. But anyway, got to update you guys on some stuff. Went and looked at gyms yesterday. The first one probably is the best. It's like $35 a month. You have to buy a key for $12. It's got a pretty nice sauna in there. It's got a little swimming pool. It's like 94 degrees in there. It's super hot. Wasn't that many people in there, which is kind of good. All of these places I was looking to see if there's any like TikTokers or people like filming themselves so we could get in trouble. Didn't see any of that going on. Plus, this place has its own separate place. It's just for women. So the one that's co-ed has women too, but I don't know why they would. Maybe because it's got better like weightlifting equipment. So it's like cram-packed full of equipment everywhere, which is, I guess, good because they got more stuff. And they got the ellipticals. It's got like the monitor where you can like watch TV or something while you're doing it. But it's kind of hard to move around. Then they got like a second floor. It's just a big wooden floor with nothing up there, I don't think. There's like 5 exercise bikes in the corner. So maybe that's where you go if you want to do the ropes or like gymnastics kind of stuff. I don't know. There's also another separate place for like kids, like cheerleaders, or something. It's got like one of those big pools of styrofoam blocks you can jump into or whatever. I would like to get into that, but I don't know if that's for adults. Basically, my goal in this is to get skinny enough, because I've always been interested in rock climbing. I want to get skinny enough where I can just maybe get like some beginner rock climbing stuff and try to learn how to rock climb. So when Craft Chest was saying like he didn't understand me like moving around like an animal, we're gonna go through some video footage. I'll show you what I was talking about. But that's kind of like a secondary goal. Like once I get down to like 235, then we'll start maybe looking at moving around like animals and being monkeys. Also, because I'm just gonna eat bananas all the time, it feels natural that there's some people that do this hanging thing, like the stretching and yoga kind of stuff I'm looking at right now. Mainly, if you just hang from a bar for a long time, you can stretch your arm muscles, and it's ripping your muscles long ways, which is like getting ripped from lifting weights wide ways. So instead of getting like thicker muscles that aren't really that useful, you get longer muscles that are make you able to stretch and move around ways that normally, like people do these hangs from a bar, but they do it backwards where their arms are completely twisted. They call it a German hang. Like you can lift yourself up and put your whole body through your arms and hang backwards, like with your arms twisted all up. Because your muscles are so long, you've got that movement. Anyway, the first gym seemed pretty good. Second place, it was 30 months, so it's a little bit cheaper. But if you pay for a whole year, which is like, where's my papers? Even some papers. It was like $400 something. You get 6 months free. And it's also got a sauna, but it's like a one-person sauna. It seems like it's smaller, and it's in like the locker room, which I guess is better because this one, the first place sauna was just like right there next to like all the people on the bikes and or treadmills and stuff. Because the woman that took us around and showed us, she opened it up and there's a guy in there. I was like, oh, sorry about that, sir. And then the second place though, they had this room that they do classes in, and there was like a stretch cage in there, which first place didn't have a stretching cage. Which I don't know if you'd need a cage to stretch, but it seemed like a cool thing. And they had hydro massage. So you could just lay on a bed and get water jets massaging you, and tanning beds they had too. And they got like a leaderboard of like people who lift the most weight. So it seems like it's more competitive. Maybe better looking people would go there. And the other place is kind of like next to the prison. So it's more like criminals. I don't know. So then we went and looked at the YMCA. Of course, it's like you got a full-size swimming pool, basketball courts, running track, and all this kind of stuff. You can join leagues of certain things, whatever, volleyball, whatever. But they didn't have like one big gym. They had like 3 little gyms. There was like a cardio one, which didn't have any TV in it, I don't think. And then they had one where people were lifting weights that had a TV. And then another one that was like a different kind of cardio or something. I didn't really understand it. Haval didn't really like it. So he wants to go to the first place, which I think probably would be the best too. Anyway, we haven't got memberships yet, but we'll probably do that this week. Today I've got to go to the dentist in like 3 hours. So also I went shopping. Went to Walmart. This is my receipt. Pretty long. Let's go over this. I got a big bag of kale and a big bag of spinach. It's just this salad. And I got like a $5 giant water bottle. I should have brought that in here to show you. 4 cans of lima beans, 6 cans of navy beans, 6 cans of yams, a quart of skim milk, fresh KD. That's probably a avocado I got. I don't know why it says KD. A bag of oranges, 2 things of apple juice. I got some hot dogs for anime. That doesn't count. Oh, there's the avocado. What is the fresh K? $2. Something fresh. I don't know. BC Pacific Hitaska. $1.22 each. I don't know what that is. Oh, maybe it's some kind of fish. I got 2 cans of sardines, 12 cans of pinto beans, beer battered fish. Man, some of this stuff's kind of high. It's like I got some chicken breast. Wait, what is that? Chunky chicken? Oh, it's soup. Barcast. Oh, like some onions and peppers. I'm gonna mix them with some beef. I got some beef. So beef, chicken, and fish is gonna be my 3 meats. I need to get that whole diet thing figured out. Bananas. I got 2 things of bananas. One of them I got like super green, so they're not gonna be ripe for a while. The other ones are kind of like not ripe either, but more yellow. Because I got to eat all this salad stuff. You got to like plan everything out when you're going to eat stuff because it goes bad faster than the other stuff. You don't want to waste it because everything's so goddamn expensive. Chunky chicken. Maybe that's the soup. I don't know. I got a bunch of like salmon. I got some tomatoes in a can. Equate. What is that? Oh, then I got like some gym stuff. I got some socks. I got some shirts, bath towels. I got 2 cartons of eggs and ground beef. It says so. Yeah, I got some t-shirts. So this was like $200 for. There's a lot of clothes in it though. What's WTG VXL? 990. Oh, I got some lifting gloves. I got some gloves, fingerless gloves. So that's that. Anyway, let's go into the videos. Let's see what we've been up to here. So, let's see. First of all, I started watching this guy, Squat University. And he kind of like goes through, looks at videos. This one about posture. How do I change the volume of this? So, like, you can do minor adjustments to your spine and the way you flex your hips and different muscles, and it makes things easier or harder.
Squat. One of the biggest posture mistakes people make when squatting is when they get under the bar, they get a big chest, which tips their pelvis forward and creates an open scissor fault. This posture is harder to create authentic core stability compared to a posture where your ribs and your pelvis are aligned like this.
So I can't really understand the difference of what the first one and the second one was. So you just like don't breathe in? Is he flexing or is he breathing?
Ab engagement is with this posture.
Now,
proper squat posture starts in the rack, so this doesn't happen. As you pull yourself under the bar, get everything nice and tight. Make sure that your ribs are aligned with your pelvis. Take your breath and brace, then stand up.
So anyway, if you want to do squats, he teaches you how to do that. But he also has other stuff. Like this thing is really interesting. It's like a hang, but you're holding yourself up and then you dip down. And this guy's good enough where he can add weight to himself. But then the equipment failed, so he tells you how to do.
Gives us a good opportunity to talk about dips, like my athlete Olympian Mirabai Chinu is performing here. Dips are a great exercise for isolating the chest
your triceps?
and the tricep muscles.
Oh
so
my
here's
God.
a couple tips for how to perform them
crazy.
correctly. Before you start the lowering phase, squeeze your shoulder blades together and down. This will help stabilize the shoulder joint and prevent excessive shrugging as you perform the dip. Once the shoulder blades are set, lean your chest forward and try to maintain this forward trunk angle the entire movement.
Yeah, this has got really specific stuff about muscle groups and the names of the muscles and stuff. Your knees. Oh, this thing is called like a grail squat, right? So this seems like something I could do. You gotta see this stupid video at the beginning first. Okay, so you hold a dumbbell and you squat down. Hold it in front of you like that. So he says if you're not able to do this with a 45-pound dumbbell, you shouldn't be doing regular squats. You should do this first until you can do it with a 45. Then you do this. That makes sense, I guess. And also, the way I'm doing these like squat stretches, it's like you just sit down in a squat and you hold it for 30 seconds. It helps you get your muscles limber enough where you could do proper squats. Yeah, you can do that like that. That's a different way. Instead of holding it like this, you're holding it out. Like, if you just do minor changes, like, I'm doing these stretches, right? And it's like, you basically, when you're lifting weights, you're lifting a lot of weight until your muscles fail. To the point of failure is what they call it. Because then you're ripping the muscle, you create gaps in the cells, and then when you sleep, you build muscle cells in between those gaps and it repairs itself. Because you don't really gain muscle while you're working out. If you work out like every day, you're not going to gain as much muscle as if you work out one day and you take a rest day, and then you get muscles when you sleep because it's healing up and it's repairing and building muscles in the gaps. Like when I'm doing stretches, if I'm hanging from a bar, I'm stretching my muscles this way. It's going to have a gap. It'll feel it. And my muscles will get longer, make me more stretch and flexible. But it seems like if you're lifting this way, it would still rip this way, right? Or maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do both. I'm not just going to do stretches. I'm going to like try to bulk up and stretch at the same time. But anyway, let's see what this one is. Strength side. So this guy's kind of like a yoga guy. He talks like how to do like fitness, like rubber bands to like make your shoulders do right when you're like getting ready to do different weights. I don't know if the gym's had any rubber bands or if I got to bring my own. That kind of, he does the hanging stuff. Let's see. He got a whole thing with rings. If you just have rings, you can attach them to like a tree. You don't have to go to the gym. I don't know why the quality is like bad on all these videos for a while. The internet must be shit right now. Yeah, you can do like, instead of doing pull-ups, if you can't do a pull-up, you do like these incline where you sit on the ground and you have the bar that you lift weights with or whatever, you lift up to that and you do like, so he's doing it with rings. That's like more advanced because it's body weight. And if you weigh 300 pounds, your body weight is like way more than you can handle. So you gotta like lose weight first, I think, and then like look at this. This is just a regular old stretching thing he's doing.
Position takes a lot of good internal rotation from your hips. One way that we can work on that is by sitting in a 90-90 position. For most people, this back hip is gonna feel
okay, so look, he's got a 90-degree leg here, he's got a 90-degree leg over here. That's what it's called, 90-90. So when you turn your body, it's gonna hurt. What you wanna do when you're doing these stretches, you find a place that hurts and then you hold it there for 30 seconds. And what I've been doing, like if I'm doing like a deep knee, like toe touch thing, right? I hold it, and when I get to about halfway through, like 15-second mark, I'll like breathe out and I'll relax. I can go deeper, and then you wait a little bit more and you go deeper. You just get deep into a stretch, and you get different levels of it. So the deeper level you get to, and then you hold it where it hurts, and then you know you're like really doing something. And you can feel it. Like I just do a little bit of stretches. It takes like 5 minutes. Because it's 30-second sets, and you're resting, and you do like 5 or 6 exercises, and then like 5 minutes, like, oh man, I feel like so different, so much better.
We don't train it very much.
You can get up off the couch easier and stuff.
The way to make this position feel better is to strengthen it. So we like to do that by moving in and out of the position.
In and out of positions.
More challenging is we can try to keep our legs hovering off the ground as long as we can through this rotation.
See what I mean? You do little changes. Like, where's this one on yoga blocks? Maybe it's this other guy. Let's look at this one.
Probably do pull-ups there. Can you get your chest?
His thing is like if you're doing all these stretching exercises and yoga poses and holding it and stuff, by the time you get done with it, you've done so much cardio that you don't need to do like treadmills or bikes or regular cardio, because it's like you feel yourself breathing hard just by doing these hard stretches and stuff, right? It's like you're doing two things at once. You're weightlifting and cardioing at the same time, so it's like a double whammy. Here's talking about deep squatting. See, the deep squat, like when you're squatting like this, my feet are not flat on the ground. I'm standing on my toes because I got to balance, because my floor is wood and I'm sliding around all over the place. So I don't think I'm doing it right. You got to squat to where your feet are flat and your ass is on the ground. And when I'm doing a horse stance, I'll put my hands on my thighs and push down so I get my legs more square. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing that. It feels like it hurts more, so I feel like it should be doing it. So I don't know. Then he's got these 5 stretches you need for good flexibility.
There are so many stretches out there.
So there's the crab.
We're all slightly different body.
Where's the crab?
Specific ranges of motion that we should all
the intro.
maintain to be healthy. Did a lot, and so aid your life.
So this
Start
one,
on your hands and knees,
I don't know where I could do this
slide
at.
on your
I
feet
can't really do this at
on the
my
wall
house.
by putting your knee close to the wall. Now, using
All my
your
walls
feet
have
for
stuff on them.
assistance, bring that other
Maybe I
leg
can stick
up
my foot on a
into
bookshelf or
lunge
something.
position. For most people, you probably start feeling a stretch already.
So if you get to where you can do this and it doesn't hurt, you just do it while you're holding a weight, or while you put your leg farther out, and it's going to hurt more. And like you just minor adjustments, it's going to like change the whole exercise.
Not arch your back. So pull those ribs in, flex your core, and that's why putting your hand on an object can really help. It can help you squeeze your core muscles to make your back nice.
Okay, lat stretch.
Or
you hold on to something.
the key here is to relax the shoulder.
I need to make a list of all these things because I'm not getting any arms or lats or anything right now. Right now I'm just basically doing legs.
Grab something with your hands to keep them apart.
I feel like I'm lacking in the arms.
On a surface.
But once I start going to the gym, I'll start lifting weights.
Down towards the ground lightly while maintaining rounding of the back. Stretch those lats and your shoulders.
Here's the
Use
crab
to open up the muscles on the front of the shoulder, the pecs, the biceps. Just lift your hips.
I don't think I could do this one at all,
and
so
you'll
I gotta lose weight first.
Really good. Necessarily consider it one of our
And there's
stretches,
just the Papa
because
squat.
The squat is a position that we should be using.
So that's your 5. Your 5 stretches there. So yeah, watch this guy. Types of hangs.
10 ways to hang. Dead hang with feet assistance. This is where you start. Full dead hang, great for shoulder health and grip strength. The German hang, a great shoulder.
That's the German hang, where you twist your whole body.
So your shoulders don't explode. Active hang, learn how to pull the shoulder down. Great for improving pull-ups. Knee hang, just kind of fun to do. No real benefits. Maybe the knees get stronger. One arm hang. Crazy grip strength, shoulder mobility, look more like an ape. Pulse grip hang. Easily get a muscle up if your pulls are strong. One arm alternating hang. Probably the most useful on this list.
Well, no, this isn't the video I was thinking of.
Inactive hanging on one arm. Basically adult monkey bars. Elbow hang.
I need to find some monkey bars too. I don't know if like the parks around here have monkey bars. Okay, here's the animal flow video. Let's watch the animal flow. Oh shit, we need to watch this one too. I'm gonna make you guys into working out right now. The animal flow.
Planet, there are no better models than the species.
Walk like a lizard.
Preceded us for billions of years.
Crouching like a monkey.
I have trained Animal Flow 30 minutes a day for 30 days.
30 minutes a day, mate. You only gotta do this 30 minutes a day. You get your wrist popping. Yeah, that's another thing, is like going from a seated position to standing position without using your hands. Just do that all day long. You're gonna get strong. There's this whole like primal movement part of like, some people just do that.
So let's first begin with our wrist flows. Push on the gas. Begin to rotate. Lift the hips high.
Oh yeah, the what do you call it? Praying mantis dog. you do this kind of stuff all day long, just walking around like a monkey. I mean, it's got to be good for you. Walk on the back of your hands and the back of your feet. That's like working your tiny little muscles in between your joints. You'd be like, you know how they say a chimpanzee can just rip your dick off? That's how they work every muscle, because they're not in a house. They don't have like tools. Everything they move and they do, they have to like use their body for. Plus, they have to survive out in harsh weather environments all the time. Makes your skin strong, your joints strong.
Today I increased my speed, went through some routines, and I feel that this mobility thing is settling down. Things are...
So he's got to where he could do it, and then he got to where he could do it faster, and he's timing himself. It's just like Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, the downward dog, where you like completely turn yourself into an upside down V. If you can hold that pose, that's like one of the key yoga things. Instead of just doing like 10 push-ups in a row, you do a push-up and then you flip over to your back and you do a crab and you do like stick your leg out and you're like not touching the ground and you're on your tippy toes. All this kind of stuff like in fluid movement. It's got to be way better for you than just doing the same exercise repetitively and just working the same muscle group over and over again. Because this works every muscle because you're doing it in a fluid, functional way. Functional strength. Like people that just lift weights and their muscles bulk up and they look ripped, they're probably not that strong. If you were to fight them or like try to lift more than they can.
Okay, this guy is...
Or lift more for longer because they don't have the endurance. Their cells haven't been like put through the ringer of like having to do the work. They just do like 4 or 5 crazy high reps and then they're like, oh, I'm done for the day. I've ripped my muscles, so we'll just quit now. If you do like a lot of reps over a longer period of time, you'll be like Amish strong or monkey strong, like retard strength, but we don't say that. Oh, this guy's fun to watch too. Sam Sulik. He was talking about how. Shut up. He said if you eat 1,000 calories of donuts or pizza or whatever it is, as long as you're below 2,500 calories, you're going to lose weight. Rather than if you eat like 3,000 calories of salad, you're still going to gain weight. So it doesn't matter. It's just calories in, calories out. Mathematics. I forgot, what was the video I watched from this guy?
I might have to disagree with that. But first of all, can we at least get those dimensions? Was 2 things. First off,
show you how to do
it
proper
was really
dumbbells.
on my shoulders, so I wasn't having any pain or discomfort anymore. And the second thing, range of motion, by the way, is by adding weight to the exercise. And it might involve some purists, but bear with me, because it's to the point where I couldn't even lift. Of course, they're for the girls. Push down with the whole stack.
This guy's not really
Whatever,
teaching
man.
you much.
I bet you're not.
He's just kind of showing off.
Belly fat is really
How to lose
easy to
belly
get.
fat. Okay, this one's important.
Hardest area to lose. And there's actually 2 types. There's that annoying belly fat we all know that covers your abs, but there's also a more dangerous type of belly fat stored deep within your organs known as visceral fat.
Visceral
which can
fat,
create
boys.
serious
Listen to
health
this.
problems. To find the most effective way to
You got fat
avoid
under the
both
muscle,
types of belly fat,
it's dangerous, and you
I
got
reached
fat
out
above
to
the muscle,
5 of
which
the
is
world's
harder to
most
lose.
qualified fat loss scientists, and came up with 5 easy steps anyone can start doing today to...
It's unlikely exercise in general that would make a difference overall. Now, there is research.
So if you just do cardio, you're probably going to lose the fat under the muscle, but you're still going to have a fat belly on the outside, I think is what he's saying. But, oh wait, is this the one that's got the 5 people that tell you shit? Yeah, this is a really good video.
Then simply try to close that gap over time with most of your foods coming from the following sources.
You have to be eating the foods that you like and look forward to. People have an idea of what their 20 favorite foods are.
Mangoes.
Honestly, that's what they should be eating. That's what they should be eating. And people freak out when they hear that, but hey man, if you love the foods that you're eating, you're gonna stick to your diet. It helps
cheesecake
to have
and waffles,
awareness
boys. Cheesecake
of
and
the food
waffles
groups as well.
Yeah.
Because when I say your 20 favorite foods, I mean your 20 favorite foods that are reasonably healthy choices across the food groups. And there's 6 of them. There's the meat or the high protein group. There's the fat group. There's the fibrous vegetable group.
Oh wait, eggs counts as a protein?
And then there's the milk group. And then there's the fruit group. So choose your 3 favorite foods.
Protein
across,
powders.
Like in each of those food groups, choose your 3 favorite ones you like the most. And there's your diet, man. There's your diet. Oh wait, we have two more foods left to get those 20 foods. Choose your 2 favorite YOLO foods, your 2 favorite desserts or whatever. Right? What
I'm going to use eggs as a YOLO food.
Cookies or something.
I didn't think about
brownies and ice cream, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy diet right there. That'll
YOLO
hold
eggs.
you down for life and not just a dieting phase.
I love that approach. I've never actually heard somebody put it like that. But now, what about protein intake? How important would you say protein intake is for losing belly fat, just losing fat in general?
Protein intake, adequate protein is crucial. Among the macronutrients, it helps you preserve.
Here he kind of explains, like, if you just have protein, you're burning. It's not burning right. You're burning like a short. What does they say about candles that burns twice as bright, lasts half as long, something like that? Or if you have like a balanced diet, it's going to burn slow.
Not necessarily the case
all day
with
long.
Carbohydrate and fat. This helps from the standpoint of weight. Then you are at an adequate starting point.
And the last question I had is, what about visceral fat? Are there any kinds of foods that promote the storage of visceral fat? And are there foods that people can eat to avoid gaining that?
Yeah, man,
Salmon,
that's a great question.
broccoli.
And researchers have been fighting over the answer to this question for a really long time. Okay, so the overarching answer that covers a lot of things is that if you're losing fat, or if you're getting lean, there's really no concern about visceral fat. Because if you're losing overall fat, then visceral fat is diminishing as well. It's not like that's gonna hold steady, you know? Principle number 2 is that most influence visceral fat. They compared a polyunsaturated fat source with a saturated fat source. It was a hypercaloric experiment, where the subjects were eating more calories, and the saturated fat-rich diet that resulted in greater visceral fat.
So you want like fatty fish, you want nuts.
Saturated fat-rich diet
stuff like that
resulted in greater.
Really just trying to lose fat in general. So first of all, if you're lifting during this fat loss phase, there's a very high likelihood that you are going to reduce the amount of muscle loss that occurs during that weight loss. And that can be great for 2 reasons. So a lot of people who don't lift weights and just do fat loss, they often find that they end up looking more skinny and less shredded than they were hoping at the end. So retaining muscle can be great for maintaining definition. There's also been some really good research in the last couple years indicating that the more muscle or the more lean mass you lose during a diet, the more hunger you tend to experience later on, and the higher likelihood that you're actually going to regain some of the fat that you lost later.
Right. And then let's say somebody is, lifting weights regularly.
I got funny when I'm like, my goal was to be one of the before pictures of somebody that lost a bunch of weight. I mean, like, if you look at Wings or a Boogie, it's like, how much do they weigh? They're not like 400 pounds, are they? I mean, I see people that are like football players, and so this football player is like 220 pounds. I'm like, what? I'm like 80 pounds more than a football player that's all fucking jacked and ripped. So I don't look like I weigh 300 pounds. Let's talk about fat placement optimization. I feel like my body has stored my fat really well because I don't look like I weigh 300 pounds. I was looking at myself in the mirror naked a minute ago. I just got out of the shower. And I was like, yeah, I could work with this. It's like kind of a tree trunk body. And no dick, pretty much. I remember when I was like 14, I measured my dick and it was like 6 inches. But now, we're sub 6. So something happened. Something happened where I got fat that covered over my dick. So it's kind of like when you get one of those things in Path of Exile that's like multiplies your energy shield at the rate of your base health take a loss in your base health, but your energy shield gets more. So it's like it's stored fat all the way around it, so it's like you can't see it because it's still there. The 6 inches is still there somewhere, but it's back behind the shield wall of fat. But I don't have like a huge gun that just hangs over everything like Boogie or anything. So it doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to do.
Julie, how does cardio now fit into the picture?
Store a lot of fat in my
definitely,
chin.
Like, has a lot of benefits
this
for your
area.
health that lifting weights doesn't necessarily provide. But how much does
I don't know if I can exercise just my neck.
The reality is you don't need cardio in order to lose fat or to lose belly fat. But cardio can be a helpful thing.
You don't need cardio.
And one of the reasons for that is energy expenditure has a tendency to go down during a fat loss phase. So, of course, there will be some reduction normally in resting metabolic people. And so, unfortunately, when we diet,
non-energy
a lot of people notice their non-exercise activity thermogenesis goes down pretty significantly. So, cardio can be a really helpful thing in keeping your expenditure higher when that non-exercise activity starts to go down over time. So you're just trying to kind of keep things steady by adding some cardio to the mix. For some people, it's even just purely behavioral. We might just say, hey, use the stairs instead of the elevator and park at the back of the parking lot instead of the front. So everything that gets you moving counts.
But even with proper nutrition and exercise, a recent 2022 study found there's an often overlooked variable that can still prevent you from losing belly fat. To explain this study is exercise science professor and body composition researcher.
What do you do about I got this rum chata back here, and I've got a thing of tequila in the kitchen. I just need to get super drunk one night, just because it's like alcohol has a ton of sugar in it, right? I need to get rid of it.
Bill Campbell.
That this new study was very unique in that it was the first ever investigation to assess as much and whatever food they wanted to eat.
Yeah, so if you sleep 4 hours a night, it's not nearly as good as if you sleep 9 hours a night, they said. Because you're up more, if you only sleep 4 hours, you're awake 20 hours a day, and it's more likely you're going to get hungry during that time and you're going to eat more. You're not going to lose weight. If you're sleeping 9 hours, you get more time for your body to get into that REM cycle, so you're like healing your muscles and you're doing your metabolism's doing its thing.
That were sleep restricted, they gained 8% more subcutaneous body fat than the normal sleep condition. They only gained about 4%. The other part of our bellies that stores fat is called the visceral region or visceral body fat. And that's the dangerous body fat because that's associated with a lot of adverse health outcomes. The sleep restricted condition caused an increase in 11% of this visceral body fat. In the normal sleep condition, they didn't gain any. Now again, we would expect they ate more calories.
Alright, so anyway, you gotta get a lot of sleep. You gotta do all this stuff. Now let's look at this other guy. Last one we're gonna look at. This is a movement by David. This is the only flexibility video you need to watch. So we're just going to watch this one.
There's a lot of things I wish I knew about flexibility training before I started.
He does have kind of a weird gay pedo mustache, but I just kind of ignore it.
It took me roughly 2 years of inconsistent training just to get to the splits, but if I knew what I know now, it wouldn't have taken nearly as long and I would have had much more fun doing it. So here is the fastest possible way to gain flexibility. If you implement this, you'll see results much faster than you would using any other method. But first, our sponsor. There are many ways of gaining range of motion, but not all of them are fast or effective. There are two main categories of stretching. There is static and there is dynamic. Static means that there is no movement and dynamic means there is movement. Trying to kick your foot above your head is a good example of a dynamic stretch. And holding that same stretch but without moving is a good example of a static stretch. As simple as it sounds, it gets a little bit more complicated. The words dynamic and static are just the first half of the term. There are also stretches like this that are active stretches, which means my muscles are flexing as I'm stretching. And there are passive stretches like this that requires my tricep to relax while I stretch it. It's really fun because all you gotta do is pretend you're a toddler and smash the two words together.
You don't have to flex, you just relax it.
Am I flexing? No. So it's passive. Static passive. Am I moving? Yes. Am I flexing? Yes. So this is a dynamic active stretch, also known as a bicep curl. I forgot to mention that you don't have to stretch to your maximum range for it to be considered a stretch. But the muscle is lengthening, so it is considered a stretch. Which is kind of funny because there are people out there dedicated to telling you stretching is bad for you, you need to do end range strength training instead. When the reality is it's all a form of stretching and there is no good evidence that any of it is bad for you at all. So now that you know what types of stretching...
That's important right there. When you're lifting weights and you're doing deadlifts and curls and all these like strenuous muscular ripping things, you're really just doing stretches. That's all it is. It's a stretch. But you're lifting weight to cause your muscles to stretch instead of just like pulling it tight and then holding it. It's the only difference, really.
There even are. The fastest way to gain flexibility, according to this study, is static stretching. Wait, no. According to this study, it's actually active stretching. Come on, guys. Latest research says PNF stretching is actually the best. As you can see, there is no real consensus here. And to top it all off, the studies done on the science of flexibility a lot of times are half-baked and have way too many confounding variables. Basically, they're not taking into account how intense they're stretching, the age of the person stretching, whether or not and how much is too painful. But it gets a little bit more complicated than even that. The more you stretch in general, the higher your pain tolerance tends to get.
That branch is about to break, dude. That's a pine tree.
Increases your pain tolerance.
Those things are very...
Stretching is insanely cool. I don't get why people think it's bad for you. So the more advanced you get, the further you'll be able to push yourself with less pain over time. But don't push past your pain signals. That's where people get injured. You've been stretching for a month or two, you're starting to push further and...
Why's he got two different kind of shoes on?
Further, you're feeling that pain, but you push yourself even further and now you can't walk properly for 6 months. That's basically what happened to me. I attempted the middle splits, I didn't warm up, and I pushed past my pain signals and wasn't good. After a couple months of rest, this was me.
I wonder if I can still do the splits.
Pain signals is when they say 15 seconds and 45 seconds wasn't as good as 30 seconds. Like, if you do 15 seconds, you can tell, like, I haven't really done enough. It's, like, not hurting or anything. When you get to 30, it's like, oh, yeah, it's starting to really hurt now. And then you stop. If you go to 45, it's like you're pushing yourself past your pain signals, and it's, like, doing more damage than good at that point. And also, you just kind of shake everything out when you get done.
Dang it. Back to work. So be aware of the risks. The general guideline is avoid outright pain, but still stay in a healthy amount of discomfort. Okay, so 1, 2, I'm gonna be so flexible. Yeah, intensity is important, but a 2-second stretch just isn't gonna cut it. So how long should you stretch?
There we go.
This study looked at 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and 60 seconds, and the results are surprising. All durations were effective at increasing range of motion, but 30 seconds outperformed both 15 seconds and 60 seconds by upwards of 10%. So now you know, 30 seconds is probably the best place to start. Keep in mind that the people in the study were not gymnasts, dancers, or flexibility coaches. They were normal people. So if you're more advanced in flexibility, don't count out those longer stretching
times. Oh my god, that would be so
There's
crazy
no
for me right now. If I could do
30
that.
30 seconds is effective per...
Like, I can barely get my legs in a V shape because my knees tend to, like, bring my legs in or something. And then, like, you just put your back flat against the wall and it kind of, you can feel it stretching. And if you start leaning forward, it's like, oh shit, now it's stretching even more. But if you're like, I don't know, if you lean all the way forward and touch your face to the floor, this guy can touch his elbow to his toes. That's crazy. And then they shows, like, if you do this, like, you sit Indian style and you push down on your knees, right? You can get these little yoga blocks you can sit on, so now you got no space under your knees, so you can push it down even farther than if it was touching the floor. And you can put, like, 40-pound dumbbells on your knees and, like, hold it down. You can do all these, like, extra things to make your stretches insane.
Stretch. But if you haven't realized it yet, stretching is a workout and you need to treat it as such. You wouldn't want to go to the gym and do 1 set of bicep curls and then just leave. The same principles apply to stretching. This review looked at 23 studies and they found that 5 minutes a week is the minimum effective dose, meaning the least amount that you can do to gain flexibility. You can obviously do 5 minutes in one go, but we just learned that 30 seconds is more effective than 60 seconds, which means it's also more effective effective than 5+ minutes. So that 5 minutes per week needs to be done in 30-second sets, which happens to be 10 sets a week. Which is kind of funny because 10 sets a week, most experts agree, is optimal for building muscle. Just goes to show we are bodybuilding, but for muscle length instead of width. Let's say your goal is to touch your toes. All you have to do is attempt to touch your toes for 30 seconds, rest for 30 seconds, and then attempt for another 30 seconds, and then you're done. If you do that 5 days a week, that's Monday to Friday, you hit the bare minimum, which is 10 sets. If you do more, it is going to be more effective, but 10 sets is the minimum.
That's for one muscle group, so that's just one exercise. You're not doing like 5 minutes 5 times a week or every day or whatever, right? So how many muscle groups are there? I mean, I don't know. I'm doing all kinds of different leg ones. So I don't know, it's more than 5 minutes a day. It's gotta be.
And again, if you don't want to be a lifeless floppy noodle, make at least half of those stretches active stretches where your muscles are flexing. I recommend picking 1 to 3 flexibility skills to work on at once, because if you do more than that, you're biting off more than you can chew. Besides, once you get a skill, it's almost ridiculously easy to maintain it compared to actually what it took to gain it. Recap, regular old stretching is the best place to start. Hold stretches for 30 seconds at a time, don't stretch into pain, and do 10 sets a week. If you need
So like putting your head on the ground will be a skill. Putting your leg behind your head would be a skill. Doing a splits would be a skill. I don't know, like balance is part of it too. Like you can, some of these like squatting postures and lunges, it's all about like holding your balance while you're doing it. So then you add weights to that and stuff, makes it even crazier.
The floor if you can. To deepen the stretch.
This is a hip flexor. So you grab your leg. It works this muscle right here, I think. Yeah, I haven't been doing this one.
One of my favorite stretches because we drive, we sit at desks, we come home, and then we sit on the couch.
This one,
Just sit.
this is like
What you do is just stand.
that Beyonce song.
If you cannot reach
All the
ground,
single
it's
ladies.
okay. Keep your hands somewhere
I did this one today. You can really, it's like the nerves in the back of your legs. You got to like do this.
all the way out, and then bend. Straighten the
So
other
the
half,
straight leg hurts a lot.
bend at the level that you can. You can try
And it triggers your nervous system to like know that you're going to be flexing, so you can do more stuff.
wherever.
So you could probably start with this kind of thing.
And you keep alternating. Or
And that's what I was doing too.
as wide as you can get them.
Pancake stretch.
Doesn't even matter if they're.
I was calling it butterflies, so I guess I'll call it pancakes.
If you have trouble reaching forward like this, you can also lean up against a wall and flatten your back, and you'll feel that stretch the same way. So go to wherever you feel the stretch and just hold. Here we go. Breathe in deeply. It may also help you to flex your quads to get these knees all the way straight.
Oh, this one I could do. This one seems super fun. I'm just relaxing. Figure 4, leg on the wall.
Instead of pulling it all the way into your chest like this, what you're going to do is hold the tension and focus on bringing your tailbone down to the floor.
I need to have like pictures of all these stretches so I can put it on my little tablet. And I can remember to do each one of them because I keep forgetting some.
And you're going to sink your chest down toward the floor. You may have to lift your head.
That's like a half downward dog. I'm
For
going
some people, it feels more comfortable to
to do
have
this
the
until I
thumbs
get
up
good
towards
enough
the
to do a
floor.
downward dog.
Your hips, you want both of your hip bones
Side
down on the
stretch.
ground. And just pause there and feel that stretch. For some people, this is very intense. For some people, it's kind of easy.
There's a lot of things I wish I knew about flexibility.
Longitudinal bodybuilding. Let's see this
I
one.
consider myself a bodybuilder, but why am I so small? Google says a bodybuilder is a person who strengthens and enlarges their muscles through strenuous exercise. I obviously don't look like I enlarge anything, but that's because I train for muscle length rather than muscle width. Bodybuilders typically take an exercise and perform it between 5 to 20 sets a week. That means they'll do 15 reps, and then they'll rest, 15 more reps, and they'll rest, and then 15 more reps, and they'll do that a couple times a week till they hit.
That's another thing. Standing on one foot and doing a squat where your leg's sticking out, That's a skill.
There, let's say, 10 sets that they have scheduled. Well, you can actually do the same thing for flexibility. So as long as you're stretching hard, but not painfully, all you gotta do is hold a stretch for 30 seconds, rest.
This guy reminds me of Call Sign Husker. You guys remember him? Where did he go? Where's he coming back? We need to return of Call Sign Husker around here.
30 more seconds, rest again, and you repeat that between 3 to 5 times a week. Congratulations, you're a longitudinal bodybuilder like me, and with the help of science, your body will adapt and become more flexible. I have 3 full programs.
So why does this guy, like, now that he's flexible, why doesn't he try to get muscle and just get ripped too? Is that gonna fuck up your flexibility? I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of the videos that got me into this whole workout thing. Got me thinking it was possible. So if I'm doing all this stretchy, flexy shit, and then I go to the gym and lift weights 3 or 4 times a week as well, it's gonna be like double dosage. Plus, I'm gonna sleep a lot, and I'm gonna like do a weight loss diet. I pretty much can't lose this. This is a long ass video. I'm sorry it's so long.